Hi, welcome to Mind, Body, Spirit Synchrony, where we'll explore ways to help improve your physical, psychological, and spiritual well-being. It's all about balance. Today we're going to get into cancer risk and diet. What do recent studies say? Taking care of your body is key to overall life balance. Some key points being, there is plenty of research suggesting that a person's diet can affect their risk of cancer, particularly gastrointestinal cancers. Recent studies now add to that evidence, showing how different food items could either lower or heighten the risk of different forms of cancer. One study from January 2025 suggests that cow's milk and other calcium-rich foods could help lower the risk of colorectal cancer. Another study, also from January, shows how fiber-rich foods may help lower colorectal cancer risk by causing bacteria in the gut to switch on certain genes. Finally, research published in December 2024 suggested that drinking 4 cups of coffee daily is associated with a lower risk of head and neck cancer. Over the years, many studies have suggested that our diets could influence our risk of cancer, particularly the risk of cancers affecting the gastrointestinal system. Red and processed meat consumption, for instance, is linked with an increased risk of many different forms of cancer, including breast, endometrial, and colorectal cancer. By contrast, diets rich in fruit and vegetables, such as the Mediterranean diet, are associated with a lower risk of cancer. Over the past couple of months, new evidence has emerged highlighting the likely role of diet in cancer risk and prevention. Daily calcium intake linked to lower colorectal cancer risk. A study published in Nature Communications in January 2025 has found that regularly consuming foods and drinks that are rich in calcium are linked to a lower risk of colorectal cancer. The study, led by researchers from the University of Oxford in the United Kingdom, analyzed data from more than 542,000 participants enrolled in the Million Women study. It concluded that people who consumed dairy milk, yogurt, and foods, including the nutrients riboflavin, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium, appeared to have a lower risk of colorectal cancer. In particular, the study observed that people who had the equivalent of an extra glass of milk each day, or 300 milligrams of calcium, had a 17% lower relative risk for colorectal cancer. Cow's milk is a rich source of dietary calcium and riboflavin, and the relationships between milk, calcium, and riboflavin and risk of cancer incidence observed in the study were almost identical. Tom Sanders, PhD, Professor Emeritus of Nutrition and Dietetics at King's College London in the UK, who was not involved in this study, explained to the press. A weaker protective relationship was found with breakfast cereals, especially whole grain cereals, but this could be confounded by the fact that breakfasts are consumed with milk, he noted. As to why calcium may have a protective effect against this form of cancer, Sanders said that one theory is that the calcium may bind to free bile acids in the gut, preventing the harmful effects of free bile acids on gut mucosa. How might fiber-rich foods protect against colorectal cancer? Previous research has also suggested that fiber-rich foods, such as vegetables, whole grains, fruits, and nuts, might have a protective effect against colorectal cancer. A study published in Nature Metabolism in January 2025 has now shed some light on the potential mechanism behind this protective effect. This study found that when gut bacteria break down plant fiber in the gut, they produce 2 types of molecules called short-chain fatty acids that may actually be responsible for keeping cancer at bay. The 2 short-chain fatty acids in question are propionate and butyrate, which, the researchers who conducted the study found, altered gene expression both in healthy cells and in treated colon cancer cells collected from humans. These short-chain fatty acids can influence the activity of both cancer-promoting proto-oncogenes and cancer-suppressing tumor suppressor genes by modifying histones, the proteins that help package DNA. By making the DNA more accessible, SCFAs can turn certain genes on or off, depending on the cell type and conditions. Sebnem Unluisler, genetic engineer and chief longevity officer at the London Regenerative Institute, who was not involved in the study, explained to Medical News Today. This process blocks enzymes called histone deacetylases, leading to changes in DNA packaging that can slow down cancer cell growth or even trigger the cancer cell's death, she detailed. Drinking coffee may help keep neck and head cancer at bay. A more surprising recent finding was that drinking more than 4 cups of caffeinated coffee per day was associated with a lower risk of neck and head cancer, according to a study published in the journal Cancer in December 2024. The study analyzed pooled data from the International Head and Neck Cancer Epidemiology Consortium, including 14 individual-level case control studies. This study showed a decreased risk of head and neck cancers with increasing coffee or tea. Most of the effect was seen in drinking more than 4 cups of caffeinated coffee and less than, or at most, the equivalent of 1 cup of tea daily. Kanwar Kelly, Maryland, JD, board-certified otolaryngologist and co-founder and CEO of Side Health, who was not involved in the study, told MNT. Nevertheless, he also cautioned that the quantity of coffee with which this effect was associated may be too much for some, as Kanwar Kelly notes. The amount of coffee that needs to be consumed for the effect is likely more than is usually consumed in a day. Those sensitive to caffeine will likely have difficulty drinking this much coffee to experience the effect. At the end of the day, this study shows we can still enjoy our coffee in the morning, but, Kelly emphasized, we do not have to try and drink more than usual to protect from head and neck cancer. What we intake matters to our healthy life balance. Some base knowledge can help us establish preventative measures to maintain our overall good health, keeping our bodies in shape along with our mind and spirit. Well, that's what it is for now. MBSS would like to thank Dr. Maria Kohut for her contributions. We hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, please help us out by giving a like and add us as a subscription. Keep in mind, life keeps coming at us. The dirt roads are rough, but the scenery is great. There's something good in it all. Enjoy the ride.